Good evening, Carolyn.
Can you hear me, Daria?
I can now.
Oh,
Good
how
evening.
are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing okay, thank you. I'm
Good.
trying to catch a cold.
Oh no, you know what? I think I'm trying to catch one too, or trying not to catch one.
Really trying not to exactly.
Yeah, use Zicam. It'll stop it.
Yeah,
It'll,
I got some, I sprayed some earlier.
yeah, it really works.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Good evening, everyone. Williams Otter Pilot requests to record. Unfortunately, I cannot grant permission to record, but this is recorded by the board and it'll be viewable on our YouTube channel. Let's see who we have. That's on.
Daria, are you chairing?
I am today.
Okay.
Um, Monique is out.
Yeah, I sent her a condolence.
Yeah. So it's 6:31. I think it's you and I, Carolyn. And I think we should go ahead and move right along because I think you and I actually make a quorum.
Well, how about that? Since it's only you and I.
That's right. Um, I would like to do a slight adjustment. I would like our new applicant to be after our two presentations because I think that the applicant would benefit from what's going to be said.
Right. I
Um,
agree.
okay, so I would um, can you see the agenda right now?
Yeah, again.
Okay, good. Okay, so I am going to put the new applicant after our two presentations. Um, okay. Well, I guess we do have to have three to actually make motions in second because can I make a motion while I'm
Yeah,
running the meeting? Can
yeah,
I?
yeah, you can make a motion.
Okay. Well, I'm going to call to order at 6:33 p.m. and I move that we adopt the agenda with the aforementioned change, unless you have any other changes.
No, I move to accept it.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Um, the January minutes, I don't know if you got a chance to look at them.
Think I read them. I did go over them. So
Okay. Uh, do you move that we adopt those minutes with any necessary?
no, I
Um,
move to accept January's minutes.
and I second with any necessary adjustments. Okay, so moving into our meeting,
Excuse me, Daria.
yes,
Are you recording?
I am.
Okay, thank you very much. How you doing, Miss Thompson?
Fine, Gail.
So moving right along, I'm going to stop sharing right now so that we can all see each other. And I will not belabor the time at all. I believe that I saw um I'm sorry, that I saw Canaware. Did I see Sam or someone? Yep, I see Sam from Canaware. Hello,
Hello, hello. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Swell, happy we finally coordinated to make this happen. So excited to present to y'all and let us know what we have going on and to hear what y'all have going on. I was reading and I'm happy to hear there's some applicants looking to get their licensure and storefront going. So beautiful things.
Absolutely. We actually have one applicant tonight, and
Here's
we
the
are
forecast
going
for tomorrow. Look for intermittent clouds
Oh.
with a high.
and
Hold on a
we are
minute, Sam.
that's okay. And we are moving them down the agenda a little bit so that they are able to benefit from your presentation. So again, to not belabor the time, we're going to go ahead and have you start. Just first of all, before you start, can you let us know a little bit about who you are, what you do, etc.?
Of course. Thank you so much. My name is Sam Adler. I am the education coordinator for Cannabis, which is a lifestyle and education brand in New York City. They've been around since 2017 and actually helped legalize in New York State. I joined on about a year ago as an educator because I love the work they have been doing. And again, the founder, Grizzly Bocourt, has been, he's a New York native and has been in the cannabis industry since pre-legalization. And his connections and his community outreach has been extremely impactful. So I was very excited to join the Cannaware team. Is it okay if well, I'll tell a little more about myself first. I've been a public school educator about 7, 8 years ago. I did that for about 5, 6 years, teaching the game of chess. And I love doing that. And then I transitioned to a charter school for 2 years. And now I'm working with Canaware. And
Amazing.
so I'm really happy working with them, and I'm excited to continue to bring education to the community. And is it okay if I share my screen to show a few things?
Absolutely, Sam. While Sam is doing that, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Daria Hardiman. I am a member of the Cannabis Task Force, also a member of the Community Board, obviously. Um, I am actually co-chair of Arts and Culture, as well as being a member of this task force. I am acting as stand-in chair today as our co-chair, Monique Harden Cordero, unfortunately is out. She had a death in her family. So that's
Though
why I am standing in. So
uh,
go ahead, Sam.
I don't know any better, but I'd say you're doing a great job. And again, my condolences to Monique. Um, so Canaware, again, as I said, the three main pillars are connect, educate, and advocate. We're out in the streets constantly putting on events and giving free information and education. So what we mostly are doing right now is something called Bridging the Brand, which is a 10-week webinar series in which we are providing free education on the ancillary side of the cannabis industry. For the people who are here, I bet many of you have tried to apply or know the application process has been frustrating and complicated. And so what we're trying to do is not stop anybody from joining the industry, but give them other outlets and more education to be able to continue to grow. So with Bridging the Brand, we started this in February. And what we did is we have industry insiders who drop knowledge on specific areas of the industry. Because a lot of people who are coming from the legacy market or who are just joining the cannabis market have a ton of skills and education. And the issue with a lot of education in the collegiate level is that you're going to have to take classes that might not pertain to exactly what you want to learn. And so the fun thing is about our education is that we're allowing you to hone in on exactly the skills you want. So last week we had Cheryl Murray Powell, who's also an industry veteran, who's fantastic, talk about human resources and how important it is once you get your business established in any industry, not just the cannabis industry. And so the hope is that we can continue to educate in each and every single field of any small business growing and starting. So next week we have Kimber. Sorry, my little box is blocking her last name. I love Kimber. 1 second, let me just minimize that. There we go. By Kimber Rezi, about product management and making sure you understand how to keep your product correctly and make sure that it doesn't go bad and that you're able to source it. She's worked throughout the country. She's incredible. And so the fun thing is, I'm just an educator, and so I help make the curriculum and I help shape things, but we bring in people who are experts in the field. So Kimber is extremely focused on product management, and that's happening next Tuesday. It is free education. So if you show up, you can ask any questions you want, and you can learn a lot about the intricacies of each topic being discussed. And so last week was HR, next week is product management, next week is business taxes, followed by how to protect your own intellectual property. I'm very excited for this one. As a chess teacher, I'm not the most well-versed business person, and so my intellectual property has been taken from me multiple times as I've tried to help other community projects and people ran away with it. So I'm very excited for that one. And then we're finishing with how to market your business specifically in the cannabis industry, which is extremely complicated considering the national regulations and how each national business has to kind of walk the line between legality. So that, just to start, is what we're doing right now. What we have done prior to this is when people were applying for licensure, we actually had a whole application walkthrough. So if anybody's still trying to apply and is confused by the verbiage or anything of that nature, please go to our website, canaware.org, and we will have this video for you if you're still trying to apply, which I encourage you to do. But we also want to encourage you to keep on learning and be ready to pivot because the industry is volatile right now. We also do education outside of sorry, friends. Oop, rewind. We do education outside. So I actually throw an event called Puffin Chess where I teach people how to play the game of chess in a cannabis friendly environment. So we help because that's just something that's near and dear to my heart. I love chess and I love helping people learn about critical thought, thinking ahead, and I feel cannabis and education go hand in hand. So I love teaching while people consume, because a lot of times when you consume cannabis, you relax more and you're more open to uh, education. So that's the first big thing we're doing is the Bridging the Brand webinars series. So again, if you'd like more information on that, please contact me. And the other huge, beautiful thing we're doing that I feel that is very applicable for new businesses is the Cannabis United Network. This is where we are sitting and trying to create a new hub for small businesses in and around the cannabis network. So this is a huge resource where we take our different sources, our different knowledge, and you don't have to work hard. You can work smart. Specifically, it's free to join again. And the idea is you can ask community any questions. We're here to answer. We always post the newest news from a lot of different sources. Love our Cannabis United Network host and president, Nori. Community engagement coordinator is the correct term. She's fantastic and she does her research all day long and posts constantly. So again, going from DA officials discussing marijuana scheduling to, again, we have munchies, tips, and recipes for those who like to eat. But we also put business, career, and opportunity because as this industry is evolving, there are so many different ways to get involved, and we love to present them to the community at large. So this is a spot where if you're interested in the cannabis industry or if you just want to learn more, we are here for you. And again, me specifically, the part of Canaware, I'm writing curriculum, helping with the webinar series, but also I'm a chess teacher. So I created a little chess club here, and I post information from different educators across the world who make beautiful videos. And so the idea is to present education and entertainment and just kind of creating a cannabis community because it's so new right now. No one really has it down. So our idea is we've been here for a while. We share this within our business, but we want to share it with more people as well. So Canaware is here to support the community. We're here to help people learn any aspect that they want, specifically from the legal to the marketing to the branding. And we're going to continue to produce as much free education as possible and as many webinars as possible. So right now, like I said, the big thing we're focusing on and promoting and trying to get as many eyes on as possible because this education would cost hundreds of dollars per hour elsewhere. And we're so excited these very well-versed, well-educated industry veterans are happy to give back, and we want to continue to share. So I'm trying to figure out, yeah, I don't need to share unless, excuse me, before I stop sharing, does anybody have any questions they would like to ask me about either the Bridging the Brand webinar, the Cannabis United Network, or Canaware in general before I close up my pages?
I have several questions. Did anyone else have questions before I get started? Okay, I'll start, and anybody else, just raise your hand if you have a question. My first question is, where are your events? Are they all online?
No. Right now the webinar series is online just to be able to have anybody who wants to be interested in the industry join. But we do a lot of in-person events. Right now we're trying to get to more of the different boroughs. We're based in Brooklyn. I've thrown many of my events in Brooklyn, but we've done them throughout all the 5 boroughs. Last year we did a whole series purposely touching every single borough, going through add the licensure and the different jobs within the cannabis community, partnering with the Cannabis Workforce Initiative. Right now, I'm throwing my event specifically about chess, and we're trying to get more education to the masses with the Bridging the Brand webinar. But the in-person education right now, we are setting up for a very strong push in the fall. But the main educational events we're doing are these chess events, with the next one being in Queens.
Okay, and one more question, then I see you, Solomon. Um, are they recorded? Your online events, are they for instance, your webinar series that you're doing now, are the past episodes, are they recorded? And if so, how can we access those?
Right now, they are recorded, and right after we finish the recording, they get sent to the people who signed up for the webinar. We're going to release all of them on Rebel Minded TV, which you can also find here under event recaps on the Canaware page. And this also has a wealth of resources within the past few years of the cannabis community. But we are going to be posting the webinars on both Rebel Minded TV and the Cannabis United Network. If there's any specific webinar that you'd like access to, please let me know. We're releasing them hopefully within the next month, the ones that have previously happened.
Right. Thank you. Solomon, you had a question? Or
I
comment?
had more of a comment. I just wanted to tell you, I wanted to thank Sam for coming and sharing all this information with us. I think it's great. I really like the platform. It looks pretty user friendly. I like that you're using the platform to engage with people, educate them, and also give them relevant information. So it's I just wanted to applaud you and the Canaware team for that.
Solomon, thank you so much for your nice words. We really appreciate it. We are very extremely community oriented, and we want to prevent big business and the powers that be from taking over this industry. And we really want to unite small business and the communities who've been affected by the war on drugs a real shot at getting good position and being able to understand and navigate the caveats and the problems of the industry better. So appreciate you noticing. And again, we hope to help you if you're trying to get in as well.
Say, I'm just curious. I know that in this task force, we've had some conversation. Um, we actually had an event, and it's always sort of a mysteries that we're always looking at how to get legacy operators in. And I'm just curious if you could share a little bit about how you all are doing that.
What we do, because that is a extremely crucial point and a necessity moving forward, is making sure the legacy operators who have been doing this for years, are able to transition and get into the legal market. What we've done is, again, we know a lot of the legacy operators, and we are working with them to work on the ancillary side. So a lot of them are interested in the legal side, but because of the license holdup and the issues they have, we're supporting them by giving them education and connections, as well as trying to get them to more of the legal events so they see what it looks like, how it moves, and introduce them to the people that can help them get to the next step. A lot of the times, these legacy growers or legacy operators, excuse me, more so still want to stay in the legacy market because of taxing, regulations, complications. And we're trying to aid them in understanding all of this and understanding it's not an immeasurable mountain that they can't climb, but that if they're open and they're working with us, we're able to connect them to the right people to give them the keys to get to the next step. So just with the licensure, we have Lana Hans Cohen, who's an educator specifically on the legal aspect, helping people walk through the licensure, but also the legacy market, you to be in the legacy market and to have survived and not been incarcerated, or to have been incarcerated, you've learned and you have a wealth of skills. So what we're trying to do is complement those skills and help them know, okay, so you have good business acumen, but you might not know how to market. We can help you there. You might need legal aid. We can get you legal aid for cheaper, or find somebody who works with your budget. What we're trying to do is just continuously elevate these legacy operators to make sure they're in position to win and to give them the resources necessary. But I'll be honest, a lot of legacy operators are tepid joining right now. So that's why I really love that we have the Cannabis United Network and we have the webinar series to allow a lot of legacy people to dip their toe in, see how they like what's going on, and kind of plot and plan for the future, because that's what's necessary for them to be able to really get in and maneuver. Because right now it's difficult, I'll be honest, and I'm excited for this industry, but it's going to take small business and the people who are community oriented to continue to work together and band together. So again, I really thank y'all for having me. And this,
We have two hands up. Can
oh,
you?
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just saying
Okay.
thank you because I appreciate y'all
Okay, I
for
thought
being
you were
interested.
wrapping up. Don't leave.
Oh, I'm not. No, I will stay. I'm gonna stay a little bit afterwards, but I just again wanted to thank you all because this is the exact type of thing that's necessary. Is just more conversations being had against with more community groups. Because again, we have connections in Brooklyn, but we're trying to get all 5 boroughs united because New York has a chance to do this right, and a lot of the existing infrastructure hasn't rolled out the way we would have liked to support the communities who have been affected by the war on drugs. So we're constantly working to fix that by connecting.
Great. Carolyn.
Oh, thank you. I wanted just to say thank you to Sam for coming. You have brought a wealth of information to the community. I appreciate you coming, and we welcome you if you'll come back again anytime.
Well, Carolyn, that's so sweet of you, and I'm always happy to talk and try and help get people in the right position. And it seems like y'all are really supporting it. And again, I'm so excited y'all have somebody tonight that is getting ready and is going through the pipeline. So again, anytime we're always open, please email us. And again, like I'm available frequently as this is what I'm trying to do for my full-time profession. So please reach out whenever. And if anybody needs specific help, let us know because we do have many different I wouldn't say instructors. I'm the main educator, but we have many different professionals in different fields who we can definitely get support from. So if you have any specific questions about the law, the business, we can definitely help get you the resources necessary so that whoever you're supporting can succeed.
Thank you. The chair of the board is actually here tonight and he's got his hand up. Victor?
Yes, good evening all. Thank you, Sam, for coming. Some great information. What I wanted to know is out of the legal dispensaries that are in New York City at the moment, how many of those are what I refer to as previously justice involved people? Because what I've read, it seems very difficult and they put a lot of hurdles in front of those people. And as they've admitted themselves, they put the cart before the horse in this case, in many instances. So I was just wondering, we had place open up on 125th recently, and I've seen other openings. So I was just wondering if you know how many of those are from previously justice involved individuals.
Victor, one, I appreciate your verbiage. Justice involved individuals is the correct phrasing, and I'm gonna adapt that moving forward. Because my goodness, yeah, I have some questions about the term legacy, but the one you're talking about, Gotham Buds on 125th, is run by a legacy operator. The card system, which is what was the hope for New York City to do this right and have the social justice initiative actually be palpable, has faltered because their writing allowed for some Army veterans to argue that they deserved the same priority as other people who had been incarcerated for cannabis, which caused an injunction in the summertime. That caused a ton of issues for these card recipients, specifically Terpros in Queens, Conbud in the LES, and Gotham in Harlem. So out of, I think, about the 15, 20 dispensaries that are open and operating, I know about 5 that are legacy owned. And New York is trying to do it correctly, but trying is one thing and doing is a completely another. And so they've with the card system, they meant well, but because again, this is why I have trouble telling legacy to go legal right now. The government got in the way. They really did, and again, harmed the people who've been most affected by the war on drugs. So I'm so happy Terpros, Gotham, and Combat have opened up and are succeeding right now. And it's really going to take continuous community support because on each one of these locations, the Lower East Side, Queens, and Harlem, going to the Lower East Side, if you take the train there, there's 6, I think, dispensaries literally in illegal dispensaries in the way of getting to Conbud just from the closest subway, and that's 2 blocks away. The issues are vast, and New York is trying their best. And with the stores that have opened who are run by justice, what was your terminology again? I'm sorry.
Justice involved.
Justice involved individuals. There are only a select few. It is a better percentage than most of the country, but it doesn't mean that it's going as well as it should. So I really appreciate that question, and I would say please support Gotham Buds as much as you can. I'm as with my chess event, I'm purposely trying to tie chess, which has an intellectual, academic aegis to it to tie to every one of these spots. A lot of the justice, wow, my goodness, my memory is garbage. But these individuals who've been affected by the war on drugs, these people need to be in pole position and they're getting a lot of issues. And so the reason I throw these chess events, I'm actually teaming up with one of them in Queens for our next event on April 6th, which is a community give back. It's a free event and we're teaching chess and it's at a vegan restaurant. And the hope is that we continue to change the stigma of why people consume and educate people that it is a medicine, no matter how you consume, and that it's really a helpful, beautiful thing. So that was a long-winded way to say I think about a quarter of the dispensaries that are open right now are card recipients, and again, with Canaware, we're actively trying to continue to promote and help anybody else who has been get their stores opened.
Great, thank you for that answer.
Of course, Victor. Thank you for the question.
Have you had any Harlem events yet?
I really appreciate you asking because I've been trying. I love me Harlem. I worked out there at 135th at one of the public schools years ago and had a great time. And Harlem has such a beautiful, rich history. I've been aiming for it. I just consumption right now is a big issue, and it is hard to find spots that you can consume at and be comfortable at. Obviously, you can consume anywhere cigarettes are available, but as we're getting to the warmer months, there are more opportunities for backyards and things of that nature. But in Harlem, we have thrown events previously at Joe's Barber Shop. We had one of the branding the brand initiatives where we were helping people understand the ancillary businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And recently for the chess events, I'm looking to find a Harlem location where the location is comfortable with consumption so that I can teach chess and mindful consumption, because a big issue as well with all these corner stores and unlicensed dispensary selling, it is not regulated, it's not tested, and a lot of consumers these days are very interested in what smells good. But the horrifying thing is those smells are usually fake and come with a lot of issues. And so at these events, we try and partner up with dispensaries that are licensed and help people understand mindful consumption and what are you consuming, because the language right now is very far behind. So I'd love to do an event in Harlem, and I just know it's tricky to find a spot that's okay with consumption as of right now. But if you know of any, please let me know. I would love to get to Harlem and definitely throw some more educational events.
We'll keep our eyes out. One last question.
Of course.
Have you had, well, I'm sure you have had contact with the illegal dispensaries. Um, and but I know of some in Harlem that are people that actually wanted to get their licenses. They just kind of jumped out there because, you know, they're legacy operators or whatever, and they jumped out there and just got it popping early.
Yep.
And what do you all have any resources, help, guidance, or anything for someone who might be in that position?
Well, first off, I will say I'm not mad at anybody who has been doing this for years and opened up without the government's direct approval, especially if they are community oriented and they know how to source their stuff. I definitely support that because, again, the government, the licenses are coming far and few between. And by the time you get a license, if you're not already moving and have a lot of the cogs going, issues arise. For those people, I've talked to a few. I actually knew of one of the legal dispensaries in Brooklyn were about to get raided, and I let them know ahead of time. And they said, we know, and that's okay. They're fine taking the fine for right now because they're still making a good amount of money. With those people, what I would say is just continuously go to the legal events and meet the players from the legal market. and just keep an eye out on the licenses. They just released, I think 200 different types of licenses in January. And they're going to continue to do that, release more and more licenses. But for those places that are community minded or that are legacy operated, I could just say let the community know and continue to support the community the ways that they have been and to connect with us, honestly. The more we know of the illegal dispensaries that mean well and that are from the community and that support the community, we I'll speak from the I perspective here. I want anybody who's been in the industry to succeed. I think a lot of new people are joining in and out for a buck and really trying to, I don't want to say harm the community, but take advantage. So if somebody's within the community and selling, more power to them, and I hope they connect with more people in the legal industry so they can transition at a later point. Um, the most advice I can give is just educate yourself and keep abreast of what's going on in the government and just continue to build community around that store. Throw community events. Something I always try to do is get as many small businesses involved in my events as possible. Because when you consume, you kind of want to eat some good food. You want to have some good beverages. You might want to shop a little something. So, what I suggest is to continue to operate the way they are and just apply when they're ready. Um, if they are community located and run business, they should have support, and we will help them get to the correct pipeline if they're interested. So if you know people who are legacy operating who have a storefront and who are trying to position themselves, please have them contact us and we'll happily support them in any way they need.
Okay, please put your contact information in the chat. Victor had his hand up.
Please.
Yes, just one last comment before you leave. I have to disagree with what you're saying because we no incentive for people to go legal if you're going to support people who are illegally selling cannabis. And secondly, we don't know what they're selling.
Right.
Could be mold, it could be mildew. That could be a problem. So for you to come to this meeting and say you support and we should support people who are doing something illegal is not a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Because why would they other people go through jump through hoops to make it, to do it legally when you're saying it's okay to do it illegally? I have an issue with that.
I hear you, Victor, and I completely agree with what you're saying. I guess my phrasing wasn't as clear as I wanted it to be. What I was saying is people, sorry, what did you want to say?
I was saying it was pretty clear to me. You, unless other people here said different, you are saying we should rally around people who have illegal dispensaries. We've been fighting 2 illegal dispensaries in this area for months because, as I said, we don't know what they're selling. They might be prior legacy owners or whatever, which is great, but we had said to someone, shut down, do it the right way, and we'll support you. And we'll support everyone that comes to this meeting and asks for us to support them the right way. I won't support people who are going around the system and selling weed in the area that we don't know what it is. So maybe I did misunderstand. I'll give you a chance to correct if I was.
No, I think again, I was more loose in the language that I hoped. Again, Daria was letting me know about legacy operators who wanted to try and transition. I'm not for people trying to poison the community, and I really, really want everyone to go to the legal market. The issue is I'm hoping the government does a better job of this, and it seems like they're working to uh make it easy, but it's frustrating to me that a lot of legacy operators who would like to go legal are having trouble with the application process and losing tons of money and not being able to operate. I completely agree. Anybody who's sitting there and selling questionable product definitely needs to be addressed and definitely needs to be shut down. What I was saying is there's a lot of people who I would not say the government is gatekeeping, but I would say that it's working hard to do the best they can. And the issue with the best they can is that a lot of people are waiting in line and there's no deadline right now with the government. And so I want to support legal operators first. And the thing that I don't want to fall to the side is that certain people have connections and can get these licenses and other people can't. So you're 100% right. I do not support illegal operators, nor do I think that we should support people who are a problem to the community.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, just clarifying that
Yep.
because I really
Clear.
want, yeah, I want the right people to succeed, but I also want people who've been in the industry to succeed.
Agreed.
So that's
Agreed.
what I'm getting at. So I'm sorry if there was any miscommunication.
Okay, just thanks for clearing that up. Thank
Of
you.
course.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, because I'm very frustrated with it as well, with the operators who are preying, who are putting out horrible product, who are poisoning communities. Those are the people I really feel must be gone. But I thought we were talking about specific people who've been in the legacy market who wanted to succeed, who have not had the opportunity to. But the delis who are selling whatever they can and the other spots that are not yeah doing it right, I completely agree, and it's hard to tell which is which. So I hope the legal market becomes easier, and I appreciate the work you do to help people get there, and we're happy to help as well, and that's what we're doing. And so uh again, I'm sorry if that came off unclear. Yeah, we do not want illegal dispensaries poisoning communities. That's I would like to make that very clear.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Of
Thanks.
course.
Well, we appreciate the work that you're doing, Sam, and Canaware just as a whole. It looks like I can't wait to go and look at the event recaps because I was looking at the website, but I didn't click into event recaps. So I definitely am interested in looking at some of your previous webinars.
Yeah, we again it's I'm happy I joined a year ago, but Canada's been doing beautiful work for a very, very long time. And they've gone to as many events as they can, and they try and recap them and show what a legal market could look like, what a cannabis event could look like. And so I always want to have more events with education as I'm an educator myself, and I feel when you consume as much as you might not be able to verbalize, you're able to intake a lot more. So I think education and cannabis go hand in hand. And so I'm excited for you to look at it. And again, if you have any questions, I put my email, I put the Bridging the Brand website. I will see, yeah, I can put the Cannabis United Network as well in here. And this is really for small businesses who are needing support / want to publicize themselves to as well come show off what they have going.
Great. Thank you so much.
Of course, I'll stop sharing, and I appreciate y'all taking the time. Sorry if I was a little long-winded, y'all.
That's all right. We appreciate all the good information. Okay, we are going to move on to our updates from the Harlem Health Initiative. Tamisha Hicks.
Real swallowing water. How are y'all? Good evening.
Hello.
My name is Tamisha Hicks, like Daria said. I am the program manager for the CUNY School of Public Health's Harlem Health Initiative. And so a little bit over a year or so ago, we've been working on something called the Cannabis Equity Project. I think Deborah has come and maybe talked to you guys about that a few times. For those of you guys who are not familiar, the Cannabis Equity Project it's an ongoing project to overall explore the association between cannabis dispensaries, licensed and unlicensed. During the time of the research project, all of them were unlicensed because there were no legal dispensaries in Harlem. And looking at that association of those unlicensed dispensaries, their locations, and how that pertains to perceived justice, restorative and distributive. Racism changes the neighborhood cohesion, and cannabis later harms across Harlem. Give me 1 second. Can y'all hear my background?
No.
Is it loud? Is it okay? Okay. Sorry, I'm hearing a lot of, okay, good. And so with that project, the huge important part about that project is the community engagement within it. And so it was a 3-part project. The first part was getting a scope of the unlicensed dispensaries in Harlem. And so what that looked like, where they were located. And so we work with not only our school, CUNY School of Public Health, we also work with local governments. We work with some of the people from Community Board 9, some people from Community Board 10 and 11, as well as academics. The second part of that project was a survey. And so that survey itself kind of gave us an understanding of the community's, when I say the community's perceptions around the cannabis industry. It was, let's say, a year ago, 2023, it was still kind of new. And so kind of seeing how people perceived it and what their thoughts were for the future of the cannabis industry. And then to do the mapping, we work again with the community to get there through the walking as well. And so on April 3rd, we're going to give an update on that project and the results from that project. And so Dr. Sean Haley, who is the PI over that project, he'll be giving a presentation to the community about the results of the project. Let me put this in the chat. Give me 1 second. And so what were the outcomes specifically with dispensary locations and their associations with perceived harms in Harlem? Sorry, my copy and paste isn't working.
Do you want to share your screen?
Oh yeah, that would be perfect. Can I?
Yeah, you can go ahead and share it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
It's loading. Here we go. Oh, here we go. And so Dr. Haley, he's going to come and discuss the results of that project, not so much the results of the survey because it was a 45 number survey, so he's still working on the analysis of that data, but specifically to the locations of those unlicensed dispensaries in Harlem, because again, during the time of the mapping and the walking, which took place in 2022, yeah, there were no legal dispensaries in Harlem. I think Sam already discussed Gotham Buds is the new legal dispensary in Harlem, which happened when it's at the top of this year. And so what's the association, what's the neighborhood cohesion look like with all the locations of the unlicensed dispensaries? I'm gonna make a point to say, so we will not be able to share the specific number of unlicensed dispensaries as well as the specific names and locations due to the research study being protected by the NIH, the data being protected by the NIH. However, he will share the analysis of the association between those dispensaries and related harms in Harlem. I'll put the link in the chat for registration, but it is a hybrid event. So you can come in. So the event will take place at our location on 125th Street, 55 West, the CUNY School of Public Health. It's also a hybrid event. So when you're registering, make sure you know what you're registering for. If you're registering to go in person or if you're registering to do it. Do you guys have any questions?
I do.
Mhm.
So we'll have to attend the event in order to find out what the results were.
Yeah, so Dr. Haley and the research team, they're still working on the paper itself. And so because it is an academic research study, it kind of has to the results they can't compete with how they submit the paper. So the paper has to be submitted first to the journals and then they can release the results as part of how the academics work. And so they're going to submit the paper and then give the community the results. The paper won't be exactly published just yet, but they have to make sure they submit the results first to the journals.
Okay. Did anyone else have any questions or comments?
No,
And like I say, sorry. Like I said, they won't give the actual specific data in terms of because I know it's a hot topic in terms of where these places are located, but they are backed by the NIH because they are data. It's protected, and at the same time, you guys were kind of talking about, some of these people are part of the justice involved market. Some of these people are not. We don't know, and so we want to make sure that we're not associated with a huge arrest thing. So we want to keep that data private, keep that data secure, for people's protection, as well as for the school's protection, the researchers' protection. But we will talk about the locations and their associations with like neighborhood cohesion in Harlem, related harms in Harlem.
Got it. Carolyn, were you saying something?
No, I said I understood. I understood.
Okay. Were there any questions, comments for Tamisha in the CUNY survey?
Kamisha, thank you for coming, and I was able to register. It took me about a minute. It does ask you if you're going to attend in person or virtual. So I selected virtual, but I'm looking forward to joining and getting some of the feedback based on the cannabis equity research that you guys have done. So thank you.
Solomon,
Thank you. And this is the information is in the chat for the link is in the chat, Tamisha?
Yeah, I put the link in the chat. I was gonna say, this is also, we'll record it as well. So if you can't make it, because it is in the afternoon at 2. So if you can't make it, we'll put it on the YouTube channel so you guys can rewatch it. Yeah, and then additionally, if you know anybody who needs any continuing education credits, once they watch it, once they register for it, we're able to send that off for their continuing education credits as well, because it is an academic event.
Oh, good. And what is your YouTube channel?
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
It's or you want me to stop sharing my screen, so I'm putting it in the chat.
Amazing. Okay. Were there any more questions or comments for Tamisha in the CUNY survey? Okay. Thank you very much, Tamisha, for the
You're
update.
welcome. Thank you
And
guys for having us.
I'm definitely gonna be there for it because I want to hear. I want to hear. Okay, so we're moving on to our new cannabis applicant. That is Empire Plant Services Holdings. Hold on a second, I have to get up my applicant's name. If the applicant is here, could you please identify yourself? There you are.
Yeah, this is Emily Santos. Nice to meet you guys. I'm on here with Ted, next to each other in this meeting here. So nice to meet you guys. Thank you for having me tonight.
Hi, welcome. So hold on, I'm again trying to get up your application. So, Cannabis Task Force members, this actually went out with the agenda, so I hope you got a chance to take a look at it, at the application. And I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yep, we can see it.
yeah, I got it.
No, I just want to introduce the cannabis attorney for Empire Plant.
Okay, thank you.
And I think I was on here before. I met with you with Ralph Peretti and Courtney Dow for another application a few months
Rob,
ago.
I remember. I
Yeah,
remember.
very hard to get Ralph and Courtney.
Okay. So Empire Plant Services Holdings is looking to have a cannabis dispensary, adult use retail dispensary at 445 West 125th Street. The cross streets is between Amsterdam and Convent. I think Cannabis Task Force, we've actually looked at this location before. We were a bit concerned about its location
Density.
in terms of being near the church, which is on the end. I did look into that today, and it is about 1,000 feet from the church. And so that is well within or well outside of the limit, the 200 feet limit. I did want to ask you, Emily, what is your relationship to Community Board 9, to our area?
So, my family, lived, in the west side there, for a number of years. I've been downtown since I went to school downtown, but, I have had a number of, involvements with the community through my work as my community organizing work with New Leaders Council. And I think that, it seemed like this was a great location and an opportunity to become further embedded in the community and really embrace it.
And just to piggyback what Ms. Santos mentioned, so on March 22nd, last Friday, the Cannabis Control Board had a meeting and they issued out licenses. And Empire Plant Holding Services was very fortunate to receive a state license for this cannabis application. So that's a fairly recent development. I know we've been trying to get on the community board's agenda for quite some time. But the state did approve the license. The retail location where we're located in right now, there's some issues with the current landlord in terms of whether or not that's like a right fit, considering that the rent there is potentially elevated. But we intend to be in Community Board 9, but that's the location we were given a license for. Yeah, so I think the purposes of this meeting, now that we found out that Ms. Santos won the license, is to discuss how we can be of help to the community board. How can we work with the community board with any stipulations or requirements to best involve the community, from hiring, from a portion of revenues being given to the community, to addressing any other concerns that the community board might have.
Okay, so you're saying that there may be an issue with the 445 West 125th Street location? Is that
We're working that out with the landlord right now. There's, it's when people see that you're a cannabis applicant, that's fine. But then when they realize you get a license, then the conversations change and people look to see what different issues. But I think there's so I think it's gonna be fine. But there's ongoing concern to figure out what that relationship looks like now.
okay?
Daria,
Yes.
exactly what is the issue? Is it the fact that you want to open up a cannabis there, or it's the location?
Oh, it's just the location, man. It's just nothing to do with the license. It's the location, and getting confirmation from the landlord that they're not going to elevate the rents, and they're going to give the square footage that they promised to.
Thank you.
Now I see that you sent us a copy of your lease, and so they're trying to break the lease that's already been signed?
No, just so the lease has like different, so it's like every 500 square feet is $5,000. So it's like how much square feet would they allot us? And we're like a little larger than 500 square feet. It's very small for a store. So even 1,000 square feet is sufficient. I don't think you need a lot for a cannabis dispensary, which we primarily, I think, mostly for delivery and then for on-site pickup than like a full-fledged dispensary.
Okay. Emily, have you been involved in cannabis either in the legacy market or legal market anywhere else before?
Yeah, so I actually got involved with cannabis initially because I have a form of narcolepsy and it helps me moderate my sleeping. So I kind of came into it from a non-conventional way, but I think it's shown the fact that like there are so many different ways to use this. And I think that more, I would love to open that up to other people that are in similar positions as I am.
Emily's the
So-
first person in narcolepsy I've ever met in my life.
So, but you've been so you've been a patient, a cannabis patient, but you've never been a cannabis seller before.
No, I have not.
Your immediate neighbor is a hair salon and a restaurant. You're looking at 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Sunday. Are you gonna have delivery?
Yes. I don't know, you want to speak to the details of that?
Yeah, so I think in part of the exhibits was the focus on delivery services. So cannabis in New York primarily existed with distribution delivery. Folks knock on your door, they deliver you cannabis, and you go on your way. So we're going to be heavily focused, I think, on delivery. Although there be retail folks can come in, shop for cannabis. We're mindful of having any type of queues or congestion on the sidewalk. So that's where we're negotiating for having a bigger kind of a lobby space so people can come inside and wait while they pick up their cannabis, or they're waiting for to enter the store. So no one's crowding the sidewalks. It's called like a sidewalk mitigation plan. Ideally, we'll have folks to place an order and then they can just pick up their cannabis how they pick up coffee or they pick up food on the way back from work, or on the way out to party. But also there'd be delivery, which the state law requires you to have personnel. So you can't do like Uber Eats or hire third-party contractors. You have to hire delivery workers to conduct those deliveries, and largely on foot or via bicycle, but they can't wear any branded cannabis shirts. It has to be very discreet, so no one knows that they're carrying cannabis.
I just read all the new regular.
Yeah,
they put. It's a lot.
Yeah. Which is why we have this very detailed, and we worked with a security consultant to make sure. And it's the same security consultant I use with Ralph and a few other folks that are now moving forward their dispensaries to make sure security is like a primary concern, but also just being customer focused and customer friendly, and to make sure it's discreet. I think I mentioned this in my last communications with the CB when I was representing Ralph, is that I used to partake in cannabis when I was younger. I don't do that anymore, and not having large signs advertising it, to folks coming and going, I think is important. A lot of folks don't like seeing that's a big, a lot of legal dispensaries have giant green leaves and cannabis branding that's kind of cartoonish, that could be enticing for children, but to keep it very much blended, and discreet, like almost like so folks don't, not even aware that it's a cannabis store. And I think that's, Emily's vision, which is, I think, a good thing for the community.
Ted, can you, I know you said it, can you remind me what the name of your firm?
It's Arctis Group, but I also am an affiliate of Vicente LLP, and Jen Cabrera was the one that was helping Emily initially with her application. So I do mostly the community board, government relations work.
Okay. Did anybody have any questions or
No,
comments?
Dario, just a question. Did you notify your local precinct, which is the 2-6 precinct, that you trying to open up this cannabis?
No, we haven't talked to the local precinct yet. We just got the award on last Friday, like 6 days ago. So as we go forward, the first call would be to the local assembly member, state senator, city council member, and then to the precinct if we're moving forward with the dispensary location.
Okay. The precinct is
I
right
do.
down from your business.
What'd you say, Carolyn? I'm sorry.
The precinct, when they do notify them, is right down, right there on Amsterdam and 126 in the block.
Okay.
Not far from you. So
Okay,
they
we
are-
would visit and say that this is the spot that our location that we're intending to open dispensary to get their approval.
Right.
Carl R.
Hi, yes. Good evening, everyone. This
Good
is
evening.
Carl. Reynoso. I'm community board member, 47 years. Hi, Dari. I don't know if you remember me from the block party.
Just
in the summer.
143rd, Carl? Carl from 143rd?
Yes.
Hey, Carl.
How you doing, Dari?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good. I just had a question for Ms. Santos. So you have a business now, or?
Yeah, I mean, we're just, you know, as Tim mentioned, we recently got awarded the license, so yeah.
So you're in what kind of business is it? Is it?
Well,
Oh, so
Do you have a business? I think he's asking if you have a business other than
Your interest in cannabis?
outside of cannabis or within cannabis?
Outside of cannabis.
Oh, okay, yeah, your job.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have been working as a business consultant for a number of years.
Is everybody else getting?
No, I'm asking because, you know, to consult is kind of different than running a business and engaging with customers and engaging something. So I just want to see kind of like what your knowledge is, and specifically on cannabis.
I think we're gonna be signing up for the Cannaware stuff because it's cannabis is a new industry for a lot of folks. And
no, I'm not. I know about that, but you gotta have some kind of experience to get into an industry. But I'm just trying to figure out, why cannabis for you besides, you're a customer. You want a business, you want to work in cannabis. So
I think the question was, just to recap, was why do you want to work in cannabis, and what's your other business experience that will lend into you being good at working in cannabis?
Yeah, so I think so. I have my kind of day job as a business management consultant with a big firm, but I'm also involved quite deeply in community organizing and in a few social justice organizations in the city. It's New Leaders Council. I think I mentioned it in the survey that we filled out. So a lot of that is very hands-on and very focused on working with people, interacting with people, providing customer service, putting the customer first, prioritizing their needs, and making sure everybody is informed about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and you are an open resource for questions, feedback, engagement with the community.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for answering the question, and
yeah, thank you.
Thank you for speaking.
Thank you, Carl. Victor?
Yes, good evening all. Quick question. It relates to you, but also the industry in general. When you do home delivery, right, how do you verify the person's age that you're delivering to, or do you?
That's a good question. So there's strict rules around it. So I think I put that in one of the exhibits where if you're doing any type of delivery,
right,
they have to order with their ID. So it's an online ordering system. They have to showcase their ID. And then at the point of delivery, the delivery person has to then scan their ID. The state has a very serious interest in tracking everything from the farm all the way down to the consumer to make sure all the cannabis is legal. It's not been diverted from the illicit markets of like California or Oklahoma. So they want to make sure there's a chain of custody from the farm all the way down to the customer. So if you walk in the store, you have to showcase your ID before you're, to enter. You can't even enter with a child. Anyone under 21 can't be allowed in the store. So you can't like, I used to accompany my mother to like a liquor store. But I'm not buying liquor myself, but here if I have a child, they can't accompany me to a retail store that's for cannabis. In the same vein, if you're ordering cannabis online or over the phone, when the delivery person comes to you, that you have to show the ID and has to match with the ID that you entered. Otherwise, the delivery person cannot give you that cannabis.
Got you. Thank you for that answer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And Emily, may I ask where you reside?
I live downtown in the financial district.
And why specifically Community Board 9? Because I know you said that if it doesn't work out with this particular landlord, that you definitely want to be in this community. And I'm
Yeah.
curious why specifically this community?
So my grandfather was actually born, I mean, and you mentioned 143rd Street, on 143rd Street ages ago. And we've always had it kind of like in, you know, as a place of where our family originated from. I obviously have been living downtown, so I'm not going to take claim to being like, you know, a current resident of the community, but it holds a place in our hearts. And so that would be the ideal choice for going into a business like this. But I guess, you know, like Ted said, I guess.
Yeah, and I think the
Yeah.
so the location I think is the biggest issue, because when you apply for a cannabis license by the deadline, which was November 17th, you needed to apply with real estate with an executed lease. And there weren't many landlords like even signing off on leases that were fair. They're charging like 40-50% above market rents, just because you're a cannabis applicant. A lot of those landlords are requiring like a non-refundable deposit of like $20,000 to $50,000 to $60,000 just for a chance to apply for a cannabis license. And it's a lottery. So Emily was very fortunate, and some of other clients, to get ranked very high in the lottery and to get a license. A lot of people weren't as fortunate, and you know, they spent $20,000, $40,000, $60,000 of their money of their life savings, or proportion of life savings, to just to lottery ticket. And you know, buying a few scratch offs is fine, you know, but like $20,000-$30,000 for a lottery system, it's a lot of money. So I think when Emily was reaching out and talking to a different broker I work with, his name was Colby Piper, and a few of the folks that were looking at you know, different real estate options, and there was an option that didn't have any there was no fee required to book an execute a lease, which is why, again, we're trying to figure out what the square footage is, and having now a little bit of an issue, not so much with yeah, because finding compliant real estate was very hard. You mentioned the church before, being 500 square feet from a church, 250 feet from a school, not 1,000 feet by another dispensary. There was very limited real estate locations where you can place cannabis, and then you had a lot of people from out of state, a lot of investors putting down a lot of money, and then the remaining real estate, the landlords, you know, like some landlords are, you know, not all of them, we're saying like, you know, you have to pay us $50,000 just to apply with a lease. Otherwise, we're not giving you a contingent lease. Yeah.
And are you New York based?
I'm sorry?
Are you New York based?
Am I New York based?
Mhm.
Oh
Is
yeah,
your-
I'm New York based. Yeah. Yeah, my mother was born and raised in Washington Heights, and yeah, I grew up in Hell's Kitchen. So yeah.
Okay, I just wondered if your firm was, because
Oh no, so Vicente is they started out in California, and actually Colorado. So they're like the national cannabis law firm. Yeah, but I worked for Governor Cuomo, and you know, so that was my background in government.
Got it. Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Solomon.
Oh, I just wanted to thank Ted and Emily for coming and presenting to the board today. Congratulations, Emily. I do hope that everything works out for you with the lease and with the landlord. And thank you for sharing, you know, your plans and being transparent. I think that's really important. And I just wanted to, you know, wish you good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm sure we'll be seeing more of each other. So nice to hear that.
Thank you.
I would love to piggyback off of what Solomon just said, actually, because I read your exhibits, and it is to be honest, the of all the applications that we've received, it's the most thoughtfully written. The exhibits A and B, and I don't know if any of the other task force members have been able to take a look at it, but it's very well thought out in terms of everything from community engagement to security and all of that. every question that I had in terms of those things was very thoroughly addressed. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the thoughtfulness in that. Oh.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Sorry, the honorable, yeah, I saw you, Chairwoman.
Okay, Carolyn.
No, I'm just gonna piggyback off what you said. I do appreciate you coming, being forthwith. I did read the application, and as Darius said, it was well written, well brought out, very clear. That's all I can say. Lots of luck to you. Wish you well.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you. Okay, so we do not do our vote in front of you, but we will be doing it after. But we definitely appreciate you all coming. Was there, before we, I just want to make sure, Victor, did you have any?
No, I think they answered most of the questions that I had. Yeah,
Okay.
good presentation. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you very much for coming. So with that said, we are going to ask you all to excuse yourselves so that we can have a vote. And again, we appreciate you coming and your compliance and your thoughtfulness, and congratulations on your licensing.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be in touch, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your night.
You too. Okay. So they are gone, and is there any discussion at all?
Well, what I got out of it, hi, this is Carlton.
Hi, Carlton.
Those that are receiving a license, bless them. This is good to move forward on that. There also are people who have facilities who haven't received a license and are still paying rent. And that's unfortunate. You know, I'm hoping cases are speed up, and those that are paying rent, you know, without selling any dispensary, I hope they get a chance to, you know, have that opportunity to improve their life like everybody else that's doing in the cannabis business.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do 10 things at the same time. I'm very much in favor of, I finally feel like there's a yes in my heart
Yeah.
for an applicant. And I guess we just would need a motion that we approve this applicant for this particular location, and a second.
I move to accept him as an applicant.
Is it-
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved by Carolyn and seconded by Solomon. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it has been moved and seconded and approved unanimously.
How about that?
That's our first, I think that's our first unanimous.
Exactly.
Woohoo!
By unanimous consent.
By unanimous consent. Amazing. Okay, so moving on to our last item. It is our guidelines. I know, I really feel, I know we went over these extensively to write them. I thought that we voted on these already. but
I think we did, Daria.
I thought we
I can't
voted
remember.
on.
Yeah, I thought we did.
Yeah,
Um,
the thing is, Daria, is that when we voted on this, it was prior to the changes that New York State OCM just put forth.
Correct.
So
You're right, Zach.
there were a bunch of updates that they made from a regulatory and oversight standpoint. I think it was March 11th is when they updated the guidance.
and thank you for sending those over, Solomon.
Of course.
I read them all last night and I did not see
Sure.
any,
Yes. Hello.
anything. Hello?
Yes, Chair.
Victor?
Right.
I think he may not be talking to us. Victor, are you trying to say something? Okay, I think he may not have been talking to us. I looked over those million new guidelines. I didn't see anything that was contradictory or that changed my
Okay,
mind thoughts.
I have to look. I don't think I received the screenshot. What I did receive from Michael was
Okay, I think he must have meant to mute us. So,
Please,
yeah, I didn't see anything that would change anything that we put in place. Did you, Solomon?
No, I didn't. There were some things added that we may want to take into consideration.
Such as?
Such as just having I think the new thing I saw was an incident plan in case of, if there was some sort of emergency or some sort of issue at the location. There's some guidelines regarding like security at the location. They did specify, specific hours of operation. In terms of there's a maximum limit and you can't operate, I think, after a certain hour now. So those are the things that have gotten updated that, we really didn't take into account because it's new. So maybe we could take the opportunity to revise or enhance our guidelines a bit, but the last time we met, we did vote on the guidelines and I thought we approved them.
right. Also,
Yeah, they were
did give
already approved.
right.
Oh.
And they also gave up, which I did appreciate, their hours of operation from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. That really impressed me because it doesn't have to be longer than that. And
Right.
that impressed me a lot. What I read, like Solomon said, incident plan, I guess you could update it, but what is the incident plan? If they have a problem, they have security, they would still have to notify NYPD if it's a serious problem. But if the security is there, that's the thing that we might look at.
Yeah, the first time that I looked at these, Solomon, I did see that they had the 70-hour limit.
Yeah.
I believe that our hours of operation,
I think when you started, it was longer.
yeah, well, we said no later than 12 midnight. What they
Right.
said is they cannot between 2 a.m. and 8 a.m. they can't be open.
Right, exactly.
So
Which
as
is what
long
I
as,
sent to you.
yeah, and so what we already have established does fall within that. Um, I I don't think that there was anything about an incident, but the thing is some of the regulations, as we talked about before, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, some of the things that OCM is requiring of an applicant, I don't think that it necessarily has anything to do with us in terms of just approving or denying, I always equate it to liquor licenses.
Right.
So some of the things such as like square footage and that sort of thing, things that are a prominent part of an OCM application, uh, don't really have anything to do with, doesn't really have anything to do with us. What do we
Doesn't,
care what
right.
square footage of a liquor store is, or a cannabis store? How does
Right, right.
what I don't think that really has a particular bearing. I know that the new regs do address that, and I think that the regulations address some things that don't necessarily have an impact on whether I would say yes or no um to a dispensary being in the neighborhood.
No, I agree with you because, like you said, even with a liquor license, they don't ask you all of that. The footage, you just tell you how many people can be in a bar,
Mhm.
anything over whatever. But
Mm.
footage and that's not even on the application, So I agree with you on that. But it has really nothing to do with us in terms of that. That
Yeah,
might
I
be some
don't think that,
OMB ads in there, but it has nothing to do with us denying or approving
right.
one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't think that needs to be added. Was there anything in particular, Solomon, that you thought should be added? I mean, that we should be considering?
They mentioned like the crowd control.
Yeah,
Um,
that was already something uh, that we had looked at.
right, there was also mention of if you're going to have like live music or
That was
in the
already,
space, that the space had to be soundproofed, right? And some feedback I can give you from the uniform services uh, committee meetings is that, we have had issues with certain locations that, play loud music and are affecting their neighbors, especially if because they stay open late. And they're just really, they're not doing the proper soundproofing. They're, the decibel levels of a lot of the music or being played is just way too high and keeping tenants up. So those are the things that we just have to make sure that, if they are going to be doing that, that they have a plan in terms of controlling that
Then they
yeah,
would have
this
or
to
is,
come back to
mitigating.
us. Right.
that
They would
is
have to
one of
come
the,
back to us. Right. If they
yeah,
have a plan to add music, they would have to come back to us because that's not on
right,
the initial application.
right. If you take a look, can you see my screen? We did actually mention that the noise and odor mitigation for consumption cannabis license applicants, they shall provide noise and odor mitigation plans demonstrating how their establishments will minimize noise and odor pollution.
Right.
All applicants must minimize noise and odor pollution and its adverse impact on the community. So we did. I think we really got down on the on these uh on these regs when we looked at them. Most of the again even the things that they tweaked, I think that we already pretty much
We went over them several times.
yeah, we pretty much addressed everything. Um I did not see again anything specific that was not addressed that I felt should be. Definitely happy to add any or whatever, but so far, thankfully, the things that kind of stuck out in your mind, Solomon, have already been put in the document. And I do, so it wasn't just me. We did actually vote on this already.
Right. Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
I
I think,
remember we did.
yeah, we absolutely did. So I think really it just needs to be finalized and sent on over to exec. Let me just, before we finish all the way up, let's just look at the form to just make sure, because one of the thing I just want to make sure that on this form, and I don't know why it's not getting, maybe I can make it bigger this way, that this last applicant from today actually gave us a copy of their lease. I was talking to Victor today, and I really want to make this clear. I think it's been said, but it seems like sometime we operate outside of this. For these cannabis licensees, no one needs to come before us until they have a secured location.
Right.
So say for instance, the well, not Emily, because she's licensed now. Once they get a license, they have to then secure a location. But if some, for instance, the people that wanted to be next door to McDonald's, people that wanted to be next door to McDonald's didn't have a lease and they did not own that location. We really should not have spent any of our community board time on that.
Yeah, because they didn't have any information.
Because they did not have a secured location.
Correct.
So even if they have a license, if they don't have a secured location, which is also inside Community Board 9, we should not even be considering their application. It's not in our jurisdiction yet. They're not supposed to come to us until they have secured a location inside our community board.
Makes sense.
So I really just wanted to mention that because we have spent quite a lot of time on applicants who had not secured their location. And we weren't supposed to even deal with them. We were supposed to tell them to come back
Once
after.
they secure, right.
Exactly. Exactly. The based on OCM, when they came to our meeting several months ago, I can't tell anybody how to handle their business, but it really makes more sense for you to get your provisional license first, so you know your license, and then go and find a location. Rather than, I think some people are just running in and they're like, oh, I think it'll look better if I have a place. But and then they're just saying, oh, we're going to use this, I would like to have it next door to McDonald's, but they don't own the place next door to McDonald's and they don't have a lease for the place next door to McDonald's. So in that case, since it is not secured, they are not even supposed to be coming before us. And if they do, we are not supposed to be entertaining those applications. They're not in
Right.
jurisdiction yet.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to say that. So, and hopefully we can remember that and not spend valuable time. And also be making, commentary on applicants when they're not in our jurisdiction yet. It's not fair to any of us.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So I believe that's all. I did again with this one, this part of the application that's on my screen.
Right.
I don't see a request for the lease. And maybe we don't have to see the lease. But I
Right.
think that it's important that we request, do you have control of the site? You know what I mean? So that
No, I agree.
So that would mitigate the
Even
issue
if they
that I'm-
showed you their license, you don't have to be on the application. Once they show you they have that, that license, lease rather, once they show it to you, that should be sufficient.
Yeah,
Could
if
add a
they
little
have a
note of,
a lease or a
and then you-
deed,
right.
but they
And you
have
can
to have a
make an
lease
issue
or
on it that we saw the lease.
right. They have to have a lease or a deed. And I think that we should put some verbiage in there requesting that, and that would mitigate some of this extra work that we're doing on applicants that don't even, that shouldn't even be in our jurisdiction yet.
Correct. No, I
Um,
agree.
So, do you think we should just request a lease or a deed, or should we request, do you have control? Sometime when you say something like, do you have control of the property, people still don't quite get it. I almost think we need to be specific and say, do you have a lease or a deed for the proposed property? What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
I
that's
think that's
fine.
best, yeah, because
I think
control,
that's right.
what does control mean? I don't know. Carlton, you said, Carlton, go ahead, sorry.
No, I just say we just need to be straight up and just put it forth. They need to have the deed or license or
Right. Or the lease, right.
The lease.
No, I agree.
Because control, I don't know what control means,
Right.
Right, exactly.
Am I standing at the door with a gun? I got control of the place?
Right, right,
Right.
right. So
Well,
you
yeah.
just ask them up front, right? Ask them
Right.
up front, do you have a lease? If
A
so,
lease or,
maybe we see it, that's
Lease
all.
deed.
If we see it,
okay.
you don't have to be attached to it,
Solomon,
Then,
I see you thinking over there, Solomon. You had a
No,
comment?
I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement
Okay.
with Carlton said.
I'm glad you didn't see me thinking, Victor.
okay, so, so is there, could we get a motion to amend the application form with the lease or the deed verbiage?
Move to accept.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay, I will get with Monique to add that verbiage, and the other has already been voted on. And in the absence of anything else, is there any old business, new business, all minds clear?
Not on my part.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Moved by Carolyn, seconded by Solomon. Thank you very much for joining us for the Cannabis Task Force, and we will see you next month.
Happy Easter to all.
Happy
Happy Easter.
Thank you, Daria.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daria.
Bye.
Solomon, can we talk next week?
Yeah, I'll give you a call.
Monday is fine.
It may have to be Tuesday.
Well, Tuesday's fine.
Okay, Tuesday.
Thanks so much. Enjoy your holiday.
You too.
Bye-bye. Bye,
Have a good night,
Carl.
everyone. Have a good night.
Bye,
Nice seeing you again,
Yasoko.
Daria.
Good night, Carl.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night, Chair.
Good night, John Boy. Tell him my age.
How about that?